There are a lot of half-truths out there, and it's our job to pick them apart. Because that's the thing, we receive these half-truths and they can be coming from well-intentioned people, such as myself, perhaps, at times, you know, who just really have a piece of the picture, who have half of the story, or who are just still on the journey of life and discovering and in figuring things out. And sometimes the half-truths can be given as just a part of their wisdom in order to cause damage, in order to misdirect us. And I've just been thinking about two particular half-truths, and there are a lot of them out there, but the ones that have been sticking out for me a lot lately, based off of what I've experienced over these last few years, and that I'm really like coming into deeper understanding around when it comes to the shadow side and the shadow work and the even deeper truth around, comes to these two pieces. And one is the truth that our desires are there to guide us, and that they are actually really beautiful, and that we can use them to propel us into greatness, like just into our truest and highest versions of ourselves, and like pushing us into like next levels and just greater depths. So that's one that I'll like expand upon a little bit. I'm trying to keep this video short, as short as possible. And then the other piece is the other like half-truth that I've also been contemplating quite a lot, is the truth that also when we're like seeing and admiring someone, or like, you know, desiring to learn from someone or be like someone in some way, that or even in love with somebody, that they're, you know, representing some kind of quality that we have within ourselves that wants to come forth. And so both of these pieces are true. And when we like discover them and allow ourselves to explore them and be like, oh yes, okay, so what am I learning from this person? What is it that I'm desiring? So, you know, the desire piece does tap into the second one a little bit as well. Well, it can a lot. It just depends on what we're talking about exactly. But that piece of seeing like what we desire in somebody else, or seeing the desires we have in themselves, is just half of the story. It's the half-truth. It's like, okay, I can allow myself to like see that desire, let myself want it, let myself go for it, see everything that it has to bring me or not bring me in my life, and see where it wants to take me. I can see this person that I admire, like know and understand that like, oh, okay, I'm seeing something in them that I'm desiring for my life, that something that is within me that like I need right now. And then the piece that's like missing around that, or can be missing around that, after we've let ourselves kind of delve into those areas and been honest with ourselves about like what those things are bringing us, what it is that we're actually desiring, is that next step of like seeing what it is that we're really underneath that actually desiring, and surrendering into that greater mystery of life actually knowing what's best for you, and you releasing control and letting go, and knowing that the desire, or you know, the comparison that you're like, this yearning that you're having in some way is really sometimes needing to be let go, and sometimes it's there for like a certain amount of time, just for you to have a certain experience, and then that's it, and then like you're gonna move on into some other area in your life, and it's time to let that particular desire go. Or it's like in my case, there's been this great surrendering again into like letting yourself have desire, letting yourself explore those desires, see how far you could let yourself really go into it, putting the work into it, seeing what putting the work into something actually gives you, and then realizing in some ways when life is saying like, okay, either that's it, that's all you had to learn from that, or actually like there's something else for you. And so again, like the half truth in those bits of wisdom around knowing that desire is there to, like, desire is good and it is there to spur you on in some way, is actually just half of a truth, because there is the piece of yourself that just always does sometimes remain in the shadow and requires you to really, really get honest with yourself and to understand why you had that desire in the first place, and if it's actually serving you best. Sometimes it's not. Again, sometimes it is in the moment and that's what you needed. Well, I believe that like every step of our journey does require us to go through all of these things, like through all of these steps. So like everything is needed. Like we go through these phases and to get us to the next level, you know? And that's why even receiving a half truth to some extent like is never totally bad. Like it still can get us forward, though it can cause some damage along the way because we don't have the full extent of the truth. And again, the other half of the truth in this is that there's like actually always a big invitation to listen even deeper into ourselves and into like God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, into that like big picture vision of the whole cosmos and of our part in it, and surrendering into that and to seeing and observing the opportunities for letting go of those desires, for knowing and trusting what it is that life actually has and wants for us. And being able to let go. Because it's true that suffering does come from having like a desire or a desired outcome, or like clinging on to something external that is actually representing some kind of lack within us, usually an emotional lack of some kind, and seeing the truth of where we can actually fill in that void without that external piece, without that external material desire, because oftentimes it is more in the experiences, but even that, sometimes it is just like coming back to this stillness of being. And this knowing and this love that is within our hearts, rather than, again, trying to fill in these voids through other things, be it like, you know, more stuff, or even more like adventure or more fun or more excitement. But coming into this piece of like, yeah, more stillness and some simplicity. Is that how this wants to end? Is there anything else? There's this tension in the heart. Just a reminder and letting go. All right, lots of love.